Rainy Vancouver today. I got out of the house since I have a day off to do some chores and drop off something for someone in downtown Vancouver. And since I'm in downtown Vancouver, I'm going to show you some sad moments, and hopefully I'll be able to detect a couple of smiles. I'm not sure. Downtown Vancouver is a misleading place, a place of fake happiness, where people are being fooled to get into, like getting a job, with doing some shopping. Okay, so that guy is providing something from a tube, probably some vapors or some substance that get people into a better mood, and that's in a plain sight. This is Hastings, Vancouver, and you can still see places that offer some enjoyment. And now you see the pain of the mind. I'm not supposed to hold my camera like that because the cops are everywhere, as you can see here. I could be pulled over in any moment. And okay, so this is the most painful to see, and of course to experience, part of Vancouver. And like I said, cops everywhere, but they are busy dealing with these people. Kind of keeping an eye on the streets here. And the roads are awful. The roads are awful. It's like one of the most neglected places in town. So I should back up a bit because I kind of got into the pedestrian. Okay, so you see that chick? The way they walk this way is because of the drugs they take. So imagine you being in the emotions and feelings of these people here living on the streets in a survival mode, or many of them have no idea what type of world is this, because let me see. Okay, that's a cop. I need to warn the bus that I'm not going. What the heck, that's not even the ambulance. It's paramedic, okay. So that's the normal here, to see the ambulance. The ambulance is stopped all over the place, cops. This is, like I said, it's a normal for this place. But it's not normal for those who have some sanity. So if I look at this person, he's kind of lost in space. The space we call Hastings, which if we zoom out is Vancouver. If we zoom out even more is Canada, then Earth. Space and time. People gather into places that gives them some hope. A tent on the street, it's the home of someone, and it gives that someone hope for a little bit of warmth during the rain, during the winter. at a gathering where they serve soup. It's another hope. Drugs are a hope for a bit of better. When you get a job, you get a hope that you can pay this, you can get that, you can get those emotions. And most people sell hope. When they advertise that buying some item, it will sell you emotions, which gives you hope that buying that item you will feel some happiness. So if you look at people buying lots of items, shoppers, those actually are lacking of self-love, are lacking of hope, are lacking of a trust into an invisible force which we all call God. And when people feel alone, when they don't have hope, don't trust in this God, life is very hard. If they don't have anyone who provides some warmth of love, it's an awful feeling. The cops everywhere. This is a one of those NGOs hotels. There are a bunch of those here in downtown Vancouver. We have customers like that, and I can tell you that I know how the suffering looks like. I've been into these places inside the hotels and inside of some of these apartments, and I saw the pain. It's not the pain I experience through other people's eyes. I'm not taking information from the internet and reshare. I rarely reshare something because I know that reality, that experience is tainted with the viewer point of view and experiences. Now, before I finish my video, my recording, I want to give you some sort of an idea. So the mind has power to attract information, and depends of your goals, and depends of your past experiences, depends of your childhood programming, depends of your parents, school, all these things influence the way you think and the way you experience your life experiences. Let's say walking in the rain can be a painful experience for those who have no rain gear. And if it's a painful experience, they will try to avoid it at any cost, especially when they have other painful experiences. Let's say someone who been raped 2 years ago. Okay, that's a painful experience. And if that person is still suffering, or someone, maybe I had my off-road lights by accident, by mistake, and I did something silly, driving in downtown Vancouver on Hastings with cops all over the place with my off-road lights on. That's silly. Of course, if you knew my name, probably know that this is my my type of adventures. Seeking adventures get me into adventures, and I've done that when the cops pull me over. But that's okay, because I don't take it as a painful experience when I have to pay a ticket, or when I have to deal with a cop which is not happy sometimes, because as you saw earlier in my recording, The cops have to deal with pain. They have to deal with the low people, the people at the rock bottom of their existence here. And you see the homeless guy got a little bit of shelter here into the restaurant, spending some of his money coming from the government, likely. So in this video I was set to find sadness. And why is that? And why I'm sharing the sadness? Because what the heck? No, my off-road lights are off. Okay, a good thing. Because I'm sharing on my healing channel to give a different reference points to those who complain about their life that sucks, their pain and their suffering. Probably they haven't seen stuff. Probably they haven't seen because their reference point is different. When we experience life, we don't have an exact science like a computer system to compare to, or a computer system that judges us or judges our thoughts. God can do that because God is like a super computer, super machine that is intelligent and is a being that is always right because it knows everything, because it created, and this God has its own reference points, and because it's creator, it knows what's good, what's bad, but we don't know. We know that it is good to do stuff because it pleases us. But later we figured out, okay, drugs were good 5 years ago, but I got into a big trouble because of doing drugs. At the time, our reference point was probably some idiot who told us this, buy some drugs or get some drugs because they are good, makes you feel good. But we did not see the future, and God see the future. God knows you are doing right or you're doing wrong because He established own reference points based on His thoughts and His creation. So God might be wrong if we think that there are other gods in the whole consciousness or existence. We don't know. But our God, who created us, and based on that we create our own reality, which is not always right. If I trust that God, then probably my life will be easier and better. But how do I know if I don't connect? How do I know who's God and what God tells me to do, what is right for me or what is wrong? So this God created a guy that was named Jesus, and this guy was a bit better than most of known people, scientists, doctors, and all these smart people in the world. He has this connection to God, and based on that, he provided teachings. So if you complain that you don't know what reference points to adopt in order to be right or wrong in your choices, then go to look up for that guy's teachings, which are presented in a book called Bible. I'm just kidding, you know, it's like the Bible is fake. It's created by a human. I don't know if I'm kidding or not, but what I'm saying, you have resources that are provided for you to help you see something else than pain. And I provided you some reference point to alter your reality. And those reference points were people living on the streets in a rainy winter. So it's winter, probably 4 Celsius degrees outside. The A couple of days later and earlier, here was minus 2, 3. Where I live was minus 11. And not everyone had a spot into these NGOs. And like I said, I've been into the NGOs and like hotels or this type of housing places, and it's just survival. It's not like a hotel room where you get services and you are being cared for and you are being pampered. I just dropped off something at the hotel in downtown Vancouver, and I see the customers being pampered. The hotel workers do their best because they get paid, so they don't always put their heart into what they do, but they work in a hospitality industry and they get paid to please the consumer, the hotel guests. But these people on the streets, the one who are at the survival level, they don't get this type of service. So I've been into this type of housing places in downtown Vancouver, and some people are really passionate about helping the homeless. They are young, they have life force, the energy that animates their emotions, so they have enough resources for themselves to feel life in a better way, in a better light, and give to those in need. But there are people who reached maybe 50, 60 years old, their life flame is not that powerful, and they barely have emotions for themselves in order to create a brighter life. And so the trick I want to end up with and suggest a trick. Again, the mind is like a cloud of information, and you are in charge of processing what's good for your life journey. Let's say if I want to pay attention to this guy getting into my lane, that's not very positive or not very helpful information for my my day. If I want to think of the people living on the streets, feeling the cold, that would trigger some emotions, and also it does not help me make a better day. If I think of this low ceilings or the low clouds here, if I think that I can't take pictures, I can't see life in colors, maybe I want to process the birds here that are doing something, thinking of the birds like they are suffering. Yes, that's all negative type of thoughts, or not negative, but it triggers emotions that are not helpful for my mental well-being. But if I look at people who walk in the rain, walk the dog is playing on the beach, the dog is jumping up and down full of energies, and if I look at people going at church, meeting up in a... Okay, so what this guy is doing, and meeting those who love God or love to worship, then gives me those thoughts trigger different emotions, and different emotions give me different feelings. And if I think of those people worshiping God, I feel joy. I feel joy because in my memory I do have joyful feelings and emotions. I mean joyful memories that are associated with joyful feelings and emotions. So every time I think of something from my database, I choose to think of something that makes me feel happy. Because everyone who got here onto this journey into this biological suit or body got here not to experience pain. I mean, there are people who choose to experience pain because they have different meaning here. But most people came here to experience something and do something into this virtual reality. And they are assigned with a suit, with a body which is created by a couple with their seed, their genetics. So this is a world created in a special way. It's a very interesting way that the human bodies are created, recycled, part of this natural world, but our soul come from different world and embody these suits, these bodies. And the body you get is not always perfect. Sometimes the body genetics makes you prone to have emotions or hormones that influence your thoughts. So you might tell me that you can't have positive thoughts because your genetics, your biology, your hormones, your hormonal balance make you feel a little bit differently, feel sad all the time, feel off all the times. Yes, of course. So one thing are the epigenetics, so the way you program your body, and the genetics that are adapting to your environment and your thoughts and your behavior. So those are programmable. The genes of your body, of your suit, you can